Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we are reviewing Evolve. I am very late to this. I pretty much getting this up at the last minute. This needed to be up last week. I watched it and I just had no time to sit down and record it for whatever reason. Honestly, it was just like I don't know. Sometimes it happens like that. You just have those issues where you just need to get down there and do something, and you didn't do it. Honestly, I think part of it is also the episode. I don't think the episode was anything too crazy, so I was like, I need to go and do this, and I'm like sitting down on it. They just again these four match card shows kind of are beating the dead horse by saying it, but like it just really doesn't make anything like too crazy with this. I need to move this up. I just realized, but altogether, um, we'll talk about it, I guess. So we started out the show with Tate Wilder. He first came out there, cut a promo talking about it, and then he had the PC talent, the I guess the heel versions of him, because Tate Wilder is also PC talent. Came out and talked about him and saying that they were too good to even wrestle him, which is kind of a low key been a decent feud between I was gonna say Anthony Luke, but I forget. I don't for whatever reason do not remember his name out inside of it now. It's not Anthony Luke anymore. It's God, why don't I remember his name? But essentially, the PC talent leader, I guess, is the best way of saying it, is against going after Tate Wilder here. I think that feud in general has been pretty good. Now my brain actually is turned on a little bit, but altogether, then they just had their lackey go after him. Not a bad squash match. I mean, it was only 3 minutes long. I think they should have gave him a little bit more time to like just thoroughly destroy the guy if that's what they were gonna go with, so he could obviously be like, I'm next, I'm gonna take the rest of you guys out, and like progressively have a couple matches every other week to eventually get into that final to take him on. I think that would be the best idea. I don't know how much time they actually gonna give this. I mean, with 3 minutes on this first match, it's kind of a little bit concerning that they might have needed a little bit more time to give them in this whole entire feud. It's a decently hot feud. To need a little bit more time, I think would be better. They could have cut definitely a promo or two, or at least a segment of this to make it work, but they didn't. I'm gonna put it in C, entertainment, but not much else. Then we get to the Lince Dorado versus Mike Cunningham match. They did give them a decent amount of time on this. I think it was worth it. I'm still kind of just overall confused about Mike Cunningham's gimmick. I mean, he just plays so close to being a heel, and that he's kind of just a babyface. Greeted him afterwards. I just feel it's not the bro gimmick does just not work here for being a baby face. I think they definitely need to turn him heel if they want to keep it. But the main man energy thing, I don't know. It just seems like a douchebag. I like Mike Cunningham too, so it kind of makes it rough. I like Lince Dorado a lot. He's probably one of the better on the roster altogether. This match I thought was actually pretty good. It was definitely match of the night by hands down. It felt very entertaining. Like there was a lot of stuff that actually happened in here. I honestly want to give it an A. It felt like a lot of people, from what I could tell, like on Cage Match and stuff, didn't care for it as much. I honestly think if you look at what Evolve is and all that, for an 8 minute match, it felt pretty full for what we sometimes get. Like if you even just look at the Brooks Jensen and Cappuccino Jones match, which was also 8 minutes, not knocking that match, we'll discuss it, but like it just felt like those are two different matches that you get for 8 minutes, and one you're going to be full, the other one had some more to be desired on it. So I think A is a pretty solid thing. Then I know we had some different promos in between. I kind of just lumped all the promos in the middle. We had a pretty much just squash with Callie Armstrong and Mason Holiday. It's a solid win to give Callie Armstrong. She kind of needed that to be, kind of set up the rest of what the saga of her night was. I'm not opposed to it. Mason Holiday, is kind of on the lower card of Evolve, so taking this L here isn't really gonna change anything for her. She's kind of in a tag team. You can kind of do that with having that tag team type action, because once one of your tag partners loses, it doesn't look as bad compared to just a single star taking an L here. So I think it was a solid idea. The match was fairly entertaining for a minute long. I'll put it in C. I mean, squash matches are always kind of hard to rate, but I didn't hate it, so I guess C works. Then Callie Armstrong goes in the back, demands to be part of the Fatal 4-Way, which now will be a Fatal 5-Way match, with the winner winning the last spot in the gauntlet for the women's title in 3 weeks. Now, having this vacated for almost a month and some change, I think has definitely been the worst idea. I think they had some other ideas to do here, and this just was not the thing. Honestly, with the field that they have in this Fatal 4-Way, which I guess we'll put this whole segment, I think that was a good kind of bounce back for her. I'll put that in B. And then speaking of the Fatal 5-Way, they're gonna face each other next week with with that ability to be the last spot is kind of a risky thing to do, because I do believe it's not necessarily a bad idea. I think you could really get some good stuff out of it, but I think somebody has to take the pin, and that person immediately becomes kind of probably the person that gets eliminated. It's all the way until April 15th that we won't even know. So 2 weeks from now, it's going to be almost WrestleMania season before we actually see this. So the Fatal 5-Way, the 5 people that are in contention for the title is Wendy Chu, Laney Luck, Nikita Lyons, PJ Vasa, and Callie Armstrong. I honestly think, just looking at that field, PJ Vasa I think should be not really considered, because they should have just had her beat Kendall Gray at that point. Winning it here really doesn't do her any good. Callie Armstrong would be a strong person to put in there. I mean, being a 2-time champion, they could really set her up to basically just run the gauntlet like Kendall Gray did, and then be up for call-ups as soon as possible. Nikita Lyons, I could see them having her kind of be like the veteran person. It just probably wouldn't be the time to do it right this second, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did it. Lady Luck should definitely not be in consideration, just with her pretty much losing every match except for that one last week. Just really not the person. And Wendy Chu, who I personally would be the one to pick, a veteran there, been on Evolve since the very beginning, and seems to be the person that has the most momentum. I don't think she wins this gauntlet match, though. I think she probably will come in like third, so she has a little bit of time and stuff. I think Callie Armstrong probably wins here, so she looks like she's going to be the strongest. But I could also see some shenanigans. But I like the idea, so I'll put it in B. Then we get another Braxton Cole promo. Just no. Just no. The white privilege gimmick is just not a thing that we need in this day and age. It is the worst. But we do have some new prospects debuting next week, with only having the Fatal 5-Way as the main event. Hopefully we get 2 matches here with that and have nothing else. Just let them debut. I'm kind of excited to see what this has. I feel like I might know a couple of the people that might be in it, but hopefully there's some surprises. I mean, we could definitely see, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'll put it up in A. Then we had Brooks Jensen versus Cappuccino Jones. This one was going to be a hard one because I was like, they really can't have either one lose, and so they decided not to do that. The match itself, I thought was pretty solid. I'm gonna put it in B. I feel like Cappuccino Jones definitely has been looking really good out there. He's really fine tuning his craft. Brooks Jensen is just kind of solid. I don't really necessarily like anything he does. I don't think it's like bad. I just don't think it's entertaining on my end of things. So I definitely feel like Cappuccino would be in the A, and then Brooks would be in the low B. That's why we kind of put them in the middle for this solid B. The double count out I wanted to talk about just in its own. I think it's obviously a cop out because they don't want to have anybody lose here, but I do feel like with one of these guys winning, it would have been a little bit better to have it, because they're really not fighting for much of anything. I do feel like if you were going to do the double count out, they should have had something where the refs separate them and they want to have a second go of this. I feel like if you're going to make it a rivalry, they need to already have another match announced. If it's not on next week's show, the show afterwards, but they got to say it as soon as possible, because I have a feeling they're just going to kind of wait, and this is just going to kind of just sit in the background and may or may not be anything. So I'm going to put it in B, being that it's could be a better thing to build a feud. That's how I would build it, but I could see them not doing it. Then we had Aaron Rourke, kind of just great promo at the end of the show, just talking about being champion and all that. I think he's going to be a solid choice here. I do think that they do need to put some pressure on him with Harlem Lewis, which they started with that. I think they really need to have him have a signature feud or a signature victory as soon as possible, just so he can get that ball rolling. I mean, honestly, depending on what Harlem Lewis is doing and feud wise, I could also see him just take the ball, like, let Harlem Lewis, like, kind of surprise him, win the championship, and then get a rematch, and then Rourke win it right back. Something like that could be a crazy turnaround that could really build some momentum on what I think Aaron Rourke's like downside is of being champion is that he's a little green, a little cocky and stuff. That somebody like a freight train coming through just destroy him. That he would have to then regather and go. I don't think they'll do anything like that. Just me personally, I think that might be a cool story that'd be told in Evolve. Not to mention it would give some kind of shock value because nobody's lost the title that fast. And if they gave it right back to Aaron Rourke, he'd be a two-time champion, and then that second reign could really be something that he builds on and makes it better. So I'm gonna put the promo up in S tier, and with Harlem Lewis being the next person up, I don't think that's that bad of an idea. Overall, put the show to B. It was pretty solid. For whatever reason, just like I watched it, I enjoyed some of the matches, but I feel like most of the stuff I enjoyed wasn't really the wrestling. I just feel like they really need to work on getting some people in there to just do matches. Like have like that first match could be something for story, main event, obviously story titles, whatever you want to do. But that middle match, just have something where they can just do something. Like just have two guys or the two girls out there and just let them have a good match. I feel like there's just some type of thing that they're always trying to protect one of the two. It's like just let somebody go out there and do what they can. If the better wrestler is the one that picks up the victory, that's just what they need to do. Just have somebody win a couple matches here and there and just kind of rotate it with the roster they have. They have a fairly solid roster, but you have people missing for 2 to 3 weeks and kind of just forget that they even exist, and hopefully they can get released. But yeah, sorry about this late video. I've been behind in everything. So hopefully this will obviously be up before the next episode, and then tonight is the episode that I'll be recording hopefully for tomorrow. So I'll have back-to-back videos basically. But until next time, it's been Japan. Bye guys.